Hello everyone, this is Amanda from Wayward and Whimsical Creations, and today I am going to show you how to create these Mercurantine fidget toys. They can be made in two different sizes, a small size and a large. For the purposes of this video, I am going to show you how to create the large size, and then at the end we will go over sizes and a quick little rundown of how to weave the small. Let's get into it. For the large one, you are going to need 8 16 standard wire gauge or SWG 3/8 jump rings, and you are going to need 32 18 SWG or standard wire gauge 17/64 jump rings. To start this project, you are going to take your 17/64 and you are going to create 7 of these little 1-2-1 chains. And then you are going to create one 1-in-1 chain like so that is 3 rings long. And then you're going to have an extra one that's left over that we need at the very end of our build. Once you have all your units made, you're going to start by taking one of your large jump rings and you're just going to close it. Then we're going to take another one of our large jump rings and we're going to open it. Now, pick up your closed jump ring and grab one of your 1-2-1 units. The rings in the center get wrapped around our large ring, and the large ring gets sandwiched in the middle. And as you can see, it is very fiddly to start. So it looks like that. Oh, come on. Okay. Oh, my Lanta. Doesn't want to cooperate today. Okay. Like so. Then we're going to take our open large ring and we're weaving it through the eye that the large and small rings create, like this. So through the small center, through the large, and through the small center on the other side. Now we need to take the small center rings and they need to slip up and over our open ring so that they are now sitting on the outside of the large ring like so. And then go ahead and close your large ring. Okay, open another large ring. Pick up our chain, grab one of your 1-2-1 units, and again, that large ring is getting sandwiched in the center or in between the two small center rings. And again, we're going to weave through the eye that those rings create when they overlap. And then your center small rings go up and over to the outside of the large ring. Flip your work over and do it on the other side. Up and over so it's sitting on the outside of your large ring. Close your large ring up. Again, open a large ring. Grab one of our 1-2-1 units. Center rings get wrapped around the large ring. The large ring gets sandwiched in the center. Through the eye. like so. And these rings on the side just kind of hang out. You're never weaving anything through those side rings. Up and over so it sits on the outside of our large ring. Flip your work over, up and over the outside. Close it up. So it should look like this so far. Once again, open a large ring, take one of our 1, 2, 1 units. Large ring gets sandwiched in between the small center rings, and as the rings overlap, it creates that eye. Our large ring goes through the eye, and then the small center rings go up and slip over to the outside of the large ring. And we're just going to keep doing that the entire length of the chain as we build it. So open large ring. 1, 2, 1 unit. Large ring gets sandwiched in between the 2 center small rings. Our open large ring goes through the eye. And then those center rings slip up and over and sit on the outside of our large ring. And depending on the colors you use, it can be a little bit of a tighter fit, and you just kind of have to wiggle your large jump ring until you get it to slip out far enough that you can close it. Open a large ring. Grab one of our 1, 2, 1 units. Large ring gets sandwiched in between the small center rings. Through the eye, small center rings go up and over and slide to the outside. And sometimes you just gotta wiggle that big ring a little bit until it sits far enough that you can close it up. All right, last large ring. Open it. Grab your last 1, 2, 1 unit. And the large ring gets sandwiched in between those small rings in the center. Our open ring goes through the eye. And then the small ones slip up and over and sit on the outside. Now, before we close this large ring, we're going to take the other end of our chain, we'll loop it around, and we're going to hook it on the very first large ring at the beginning of our chain. And then we're going to close it up. Now, this is where it gets tricky. And it's a bitch to do, but I promise you can do it. It might just take a couple tries. It still takes me a couple tries. So what we need to do is we need to take this little 1, 1, 1 chain, and we need to wrap it around. Like so. So the 2 rings on the end of the chain are sitting on the outside of this large ring, and then the one in the center is sitting on the outside of this ring. Then we need to take our other small ring. I probably should have opened this before I wove this into place, but we're going to scoop up those 2 small rings, and then it needs to slide over the top of this large gray ring so you're able to close it. Like so. And then if you look, you see how this ring is sitting tucked under the ring next to it. We don't want that. We want them to just be touching and coming to a point like all the other rings on the inside. So you got to kind of wiggle this one out and it'll snap right into place. And that is how you make the large Mercurantine fidget. Now, to make the small one, you need 3 different ring sizes. You need 4 16 American wire gauge or AWG 1964th rings. You need 4 18 standard wire gauge or SWG 9/32 rings. And then you need 32 18 standard wire gauge or SWG 7/32 rings. And you're going to build it the same way as the large one. The only difference is you're alternating the size of the large ring. You're going to start with a closed 19/64, and then you're going to use a 9/32, and then you're going to go back to the 19/64 and then a 9/32, and you're just going to keep alternating the large rings all the way around. But everything else is the same exact build. And that is how you make these really cute, really fun Mercurantine fidgets. Happy weaving!